You tap your phone to buy a coffee, scan your card to get into a stadium, pay for groceries with a glance. It's fast, easy, and convenient. But what if that convenience is a carefully constructed trap? What if the system we're being sold as progress is actually the blueprint for ultimate control? A system prophesied 2,000 years ago. This isn't some distant dystopian fantasy. The evidence shows it's happening right now, faster than almost anyone realizes. This isn't a conspiracy theory. This is biblical prophecy meeting modern technology head-on. The infrastructure for a global system of control is being built at lightning speed, all under the guise of making your life just a little bit easier. Before proceeding ahead, please like the video. What if everything we're seeing right now was predicted with perfect accuracy thousands of years ago? What if the steady march toward a cashless world isn't just about innovation, but about setting the stage for a system that will one day demand your total allegiance? Let's connect the dots between the technology in your pocket and a prophecy in the most sacred book on earth. The pieces are all there. The question is, are you willing to see the picture they create? For decades, we've been slowly guided away from cash. First, it was the credit card, then debit cards. Now, it's digital wallets on our phones. Each step was sold to us as a move toward greater efficiency and security. By 2025, it's projected that mobile wallets will be used for over 55% of all e-commerce payments globally. The narrative is compelling. Going cashless fights crime, it's more hygienic, and it helps you budget. Companies are leading the charge. Amazon has pioneered this with its Amazon One palm recognition technology, now in hundreds of its Whole Foods stores, letting you pay with a wave of your hand. Major sports stadiums, restaurants, and retailers are increasingly becoming cashless venues, leaving those with only physical money literally out in the cold. This isn't a natural evolution, it's a deliberate push. Banks are closing ATMs. Businesses are incentivized to refuse cash, and the public, for the most part, is embracing it. Why wouldn't they? It's convenient, but this convenience is a Trojan horse. While we focus on the ease of a tap-to-pay world, we are ignoring the massive infrastructure of control being built in the background. In a fully digital economy, every single transaction is recorded. Every purchase, every donation, every trip is logged into a permanent, searchable database. Think about the power that gives the institutions that control that data. In a cashless system, your ability to participate in society could be switched off with the flip of a switch. An account can be frozen. Access to funds can be restricted based on your behavior, your associations, or your beliefs. We don't have to guess what this looks like. We can see a version of this in China, where digital payment data is part of a wider ecosystem that informs a citizen's social credit score, which can impact their ability to travel or get a loan. This isn't just about money, it's about programmable behavior. It's about creating a society where compliance is the only currency that matters. While some politicians in the US have pushed back, even introducing legislation to protect the option of using cash, the technological and corporate momentum continues to drive us in one direction. The system being sold as freedom from your wallet is in reality a prison without walls. Three key technologies are converging to create the backbone of this prophesied control system: biometric identification, central bank digital currencies, CBDCs, and a universal digital ID. First, biometrics. The idea of paying with your body is no longer science fiction. Facial recognition, fingerprint scanning, and even palm vein readers are being rolled out as payment methods. JP Morgan is actively deploying terminals that let you pay by smile in the US, targeting grocery stores and restaurants. Amazon's palm reading system has already been used millions of times. Globally, the biometric payment market is exploding, projected to be a market of over $46 billion in 2025. These systems are marketed for their speed and security. Your body becomes your password. But they also mean your unique, unchangeable physical identity is being linked directly to your financial life. You can change a password, but you can't change your face or your palm. This creates a permanent, inescapable link between you and the system. Second, and perhaps most critical, are central bank digital currencies, or CBDCs. A CBDC is not like Bitcoin. It's a digital version of a nation's currency, issued and controlled directly by the government's central bank. This means that instead of money flowing through commercial banks, the government itself would have a direct ledger of every transaction. In theory, they could program this money with rules. For instance, they could set expiration dates to force spending, as has been trialed in China. They could restrict purchases of certain items or link your ability to spend to a social credit or carbon footprint score. A CBDC would grant the government the power to monitor, control, and potentially even freeze the assets of any citizen at will. Recognizing this danger, there has been significant political pushback in the United States against a retail CBDC, with some lawmakers calling it a tool for surveillance and control. However, the global trend continues. As of late 2024, 134 countries are exploring or developing their own CBDCs, creating a framework for a future interconnected global financial system. Finally, there's the push for a universal digital ID. Organizations like the United Nations and the World Economic Forum are championing the goal of providing a legal, digital identity for every person on the planet by 2030, under the banner of Sustainable Development Goals. A campaign called 50 in 5, backed by powerful foundations, aims to fast-track digital ID systems, payment platforms, and data sharing in 50 countries by 2028. This ID isn't just for logging into websites. It's envisioned as a central hub that could one day link your health records, finances, travel, and biometric data into one profile. While sold as a tool for financial inclusion and efficiency, this system creates a single point of failure and control. If your digital ID is flagged for non-compliance, you could be cut off from every aspect of modern life, unable to work, travel, or access services. These three pillars, biometrics, CBDCs, and digital ID, are not separate trends. They are the interlocking components of a single, global infrastructure, an infrastructure with the unprecedented power to monitor and control the economic activity of every person on Earth, an infrastructure that perfectly mirrors a prophecy made 2,000 years ago. For those who have studied the Bible, this convergence of technology rings an ancient and chilling bell. It points directly to the prophecies in the book of Revelation, specifically chapter 13, verses 16 through 18. Let's read it carefully, because its words are more relevant today than at any point in human history.
This book is your beginner's guide to understanding Scripture. Find peace, build relationships, and discover purpose in today's world. Ready to decode the Bible? Find Bible Decoded available on Amazon now.
If this content blesses you and you'd like to support our mission, you can buy me a coffee or give a super thanks. Every contribution helps us create more content to inspire and uplift others. Make sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on my future videos. The scripture says, "It also forced all people, great and small, rich and poor, free and slave, to receive a mark on their right hands or on their foreheads, so that they could not buy or sell unless they had the mark, which is the name of the beast or the number of its name." This calls for wisdom. Let the one who has insight calculate the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man. That number is 666. Let's break this down. First, it forced all people, great and small, rich and poor, free and bond. The prophecy describes a universal, mandatory system. No exceptions. It's not a program you can opt out of. It applies to everyone, which directly mirrors the vision of global digital ID and CBDC systems designed for total adoption. Second, to receive a mark on their right hand or on their foreheads. For centuries, people wondered what this could mean. Today, the technology to fulfill this literally is not only possible, but is being deployed. We have biometric systems that scan the hand or the face to authorize payments. The placement on the right hand or forehead is no longer a symbolic mystery. It's the precise location where modern technology is capturing our unique biological data for commerce. Third, and most critically, so that they could not buy or sell unless they had the mark. This is the core of the prophecy: total economic control. The mark isn't just a symbol of allegiance, it's the key to participating in the economy. Without it, you're locked out. A global cashless system, built on digital currencies and biometric IDs, is the only way such a comprehensive system of control could ever be implemented. It's the perfect mechanism to enforce the ultimatum described in Revelation. If someone refuses to comply, they can be instantly and remotely cut off from their ability to transact. It's vital to make a distinction here. Other technologies we see today, the palm scanners, the digital wallets, a potential CBDC, the mark of the beast itself. No. The Bible is clear that the mark is tied to a conscious act of worship and allegiance to a figure known as the Antichrist. Taking the mark is a spiritual decision, not just a technological upgrade. However, and this is the point that cannot be overstated, these technologies are, for the first time in history, building the infrastructure that makes the mark of the beast system possible. They are setting the stage. They are forging the chains. The prophecy of Revelation 13 was impossible to implement on a global scale just a few decades ago. There was no technology to track and control the buying and selling of every person on the planet. Today, that technology exists and is being integrated into our society under the banner of progress and convenience. This technological leap was also foretold. The prophet Daniel, writing centuries before Revelation, was given a vision of the final days. In Daniel chapter 12, verse 4, an angel instructs him, "But you, Daniel, roll up and seal the words of the scroll until the time of the end. Many will go here and there to increase knowledge. The time of the end, a period when knowledge would explode. For thousands of years, human knowledge progressed at a crawl. But think about the last century, and especially the last few decades. Before 1900, knowledge doubled roughly every century. By the end of World War II, it was doubling every 25 years. Today, some estimates suggest it doubles every 12 to 13 months. With the rise of artificial intelligence, some futurists predict it could soon double every 12 hours. This isn't just about more information. It's about the kind of knowledge that fundamentally changes human capability. The prophecy points to an exponential increase, and that is exactly what we're witnessing. We have cracked the code of life with genetic engineering. We're creating artificial intelligence that can outthink humans. We are building a global, instantaneous communication network. And as we've discussed, we have developed the biometric and digital financial technologies that make a global system of control feasible. The Book of Daniel was sealed because its prophecies wouldn't be fully understood until the time was right, until the technology and global conditions it described had finally emerged. The fact that we can now look at a prophecy like Revelation 13 and see a clear, plausible technological path to its fulfillment is a sign in and of itself. We are living in the generation that can finally unseal these warnings because we are the first generation to see the tools of its fulfillment being assembled right before our eyes. This explosion of knowledge isn't random. It is a prophesied marker of the era the Bible calls the time of the end. A global system of control requires a global system of governance. The Bible prophesies that in the last days, a single, powerful entity, described as a beast in Revelation, will rise to have authority over every tribe, people, language, and nation. This system will be led by a charismatic world leader, the Antichrist, who will be assisted by a false prophet, responsible for implementing the economic system and enforcing the mark. For years, this seemed like a distant possibility. But today, we see the framework for such a system being openly constructed. Organizations like the World Economic Forum, WEF, actively promote a Great Reset agenda, calling for a reinvention of global capitalism and governance. Their vision involves a tighter integration of government and corporations using environmental, social, and governance (ESG) metrics to shape the global economy. A key part of this vision is the universal adoption of digital ID. The United Nations Sustainable Development Goal 16.9 explicitly calls for providing a legal identity for all by 2030, with digital ID being the preferred solution. These initiatives are presented as benevolent efforts to promote financial inclusion and sustainable development. But they are also creating the centralized, standardized architecture necessary for a global authority to exert control. This isn't a secret plot hatched in the shadows. It's being discussed openly on the world stage. They speak of harnessing the Fourth Industrial Revolution, the fusion of digital, biological, and physical worlds to reshape society. They see digital identity as the cornerstone of this new era. The beast of Revelation is not just a single person, but a complex, political, economic, and spiritual system of global governance that demands absolute allegiance. The world has never been more interconnected or more technologically prepared for such a system to emerge. The push for a global digital currency, a universal digital ID, and a new form of global governance are not unrelated events. They are the building blocks of the very empire the prophets Daniel and John warned would rise in the final days, an empire that will ultimately demand a choice from every person on earth. If you believe it's more important than ever to stay informed and understand the times we're living in from a biblical perspective, make sure you subscribe and click the notification bell. This is a conversation we need to have. And if this message resonated with you, please share this video. The time to wake people up is now, before the walls of this convenient trap close in for good. Leave a comment below with your thoughts. Are you seeing this shift in your own community? We began with the simple act of tapping a phone to pay for coffee. It feels harmless, like progress. But as we've seen, the path of convenience is leading us toward a destination of total control. The Trojan horse of a cashless society is no longer outside the gates. It's been welcomed in. And the infrastructure for the most sophisticated system of control in human history is being built all around us. This isn't a call to fear, but a call to wisdom. It's a call to open our eyes and recognize that biblical prophecies are not ancient fairy tales. They are a living roadmap for the times we are in. The convergence of technology and global governance is setting the stage for a final choice, a choice of allegiance. The Bible describes two marks in the end times: the mark of the beast, which signifies allegiance to a worldly system of control and rebellion against God, and the seal of God, which is placed on the foreheads of his faithful servants. Ultimately, this is not a battle against technology, but a spiritual battle for our souls. The solution isn't to smash our smartphones or hoard cash, but to secure our faith. The Bible's prophecies were not given to scare us, but to prepare us, so that when we see these things begin to happen, we would look up, knowing that our ultimate hope is not in any worldly system, but in God's sovereignty. The choice is coming. Will you put your faith in the convenient systems of man or in the eternal promises of God? Live ready to meet the Lord, and do not be deceived.
Feeling anxious or disconnected? Ready for a deeper faith journey designed just for you? Discover Bible Study for Black Women. This guide nurtures faith, strength, and growth week by week. Overcome fear and connect with God. This empowering journey is waiting. Find Bible Study for Black Women on Amazon today and start building unshakable faith.
If this content blesses you and you'd like to support our mission, you can buy me a coffee or give a super thanks. Every contribution helps us create more content to inspire and uplift others. Make sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on my future videos.